Hello, hi. Thanks for joining me in today's video. So back to familiar surroundings and territory in the Churnetvalley, the Garden of Eden. Now as you know, I had some very good burns on my previous projects, the AAs and the 7C pluses, and now I want to try and aim for even harder level. I want to try and go for something which for me was like a magical grade when I first started climbing, but now it feels like it's quite realistic to try. So I'm going to try one of the hardest climbs in the entire area, AA plus. Something called Barely Free Willy or something along those lines, fam. I don't know. All I know is that I'm going to crank and squeeze very hard on small edges, and it's got like a crux move, which is like a big power move, probably about a 7B plus crux move or a 7B move into like a 6B plus top out. But you've got to climb like basically a 7A plus / B problem into it first. So if I can get all the moves dialed and I look good on it, then I'll be confident in ascending the problem. But I've got to be efficient and really try and optimize each position to the best of my ability and try and bring it all together with enough energy to send it from the start. Quite warm today, to be honest. The approach was kind of sketchy today a bit because everything's been overgrown. Nature's taken toll. Poison ivy is everywhere. And the sun is shining directly on us, so excuses beckon, but no excuse when it comes to manifesting the gains. Right, so I'm going to try the top bit now. The top on its own is a 6B plus. It's kind of sandy and a bit, unpredictable with the holes. I'm just going to try to top it out too.
Right, so the key point when warming up is to make sure that you align yourself in the best technical position so that you could fully harness your maximum ability, but also try topping out a boulder for your warm-up attempt so that you could mentally psych and prepare yourself for the rest of the day ahead. So with sandstone, that's absolutely necessary because the top out could actually be the crux of many climbs depending on how difficult the top out is, especially when it's in the sun like this.
Right, so I'm going to try to climb now from the crux move. I can see if I can top it out. I'd still say it's like a 7C if you topped it out from this position.
Right, so the technicality of this move remains in ability to make sure that you're directly underneath the two really bad holes underneath so that you're not really pulling at awkward angle. You're almost kind of flagging in a way, and that allows you to propel yourself up in the most efficient manner. You've got to practice it in this way, not the most powerful way, so that you can generate the most amount of power with least amount of energy output. And obviously the accuracy means everything here in terms of catching the hole correctly. I've like zoomed in here to show you like how marginal it means whether you catch the hole or not. So I did eventually end up doing it, and I was more than stunned, to be honest. All it took was roughly about 10 attempts, but that's how the game goes. 1 attempt out of 10 means something, but that's 10% success rate. If you can take that to your grave in your climbing career, that's more than successful.
So I managed to do the problem from the crux move onwards, but now what makes the problem at AA plus is basically climbing like another probably 7A plus / 7B into it, probably another 7B into it. It's like physical sort of moves. I've been adjusting, I've been catching the final jug, very low percentage because it's like a pocket. You got to really get the right part to hold. It is possible, but with these conditions my excuses are taking over, but I've got to be strong enough to get it done regardless. Yeah, so basically maximize some level of gains on the AA plus by doing it from the crux move in. Now I do feel like I do it from the start. I'm basically about 1 move short climbing into it, but it is possible that way. But like the holes are like friction's kind of important on this climb because the edges are very small. and you got to kind of really get them like with a lot of dynamism. So you got to be very dynamic with what you're doing, and because you have to be very dynamic, it means your chances of cutting loose and flinging off the hold is slightly higher. So with the temps hovering just between 25 and 30 degrees, I'm going to take a break on it, and I'm going to try basically an old climb I did.
Right, so this burn was purely just to maximize the level of pump, and because I actually enjoy doing the roof, I've got the moves dialed. I know to a certain degree it involves a lot of finger strength, and also builds a lot of volume, endurance and understanding, and I think that aspect plays a lot into making the most of the day. Right, so we're going to carry on our session now by doing a block called the Mentalist, and this is a 7C on savage sharp pockets, but I'm exhausted. Like, the heat and the humidity is draining my resources faster than a Somali pirate drains resources when he sees a fresh new battleship, fam. I'm getting killed out here, but we're going to try and make the most of what we have and see if I can crank out some more attempts on this 7C. Let's do this. Right, so as you may remember, this climb involves firing into a very shallow 2-finger pocket from a decent jug from underneath, but like the jug is very sharp and it's like awkwardly shaped, so it definitely cuts your fingers. There's a lot of psychological elements involved with this climb, people, especially when trying at the end of the day. And this video was cut because the original video someone was standing in the way, but you know, luckily I had enough attempts, so I captured the entire climb. But I have evidence in the next clip to show if I actually did do the climb. Because you know how the climbing community is, right? You're gonna have like uncut footage, you're gonna have witnesses, you're gonna have your name signed in gold that you did it, man. Same sign in blood even, to be honest.
No.
We got you, Max. Come on.
Yeah, let's go.
Nice.
Power screaming, bruv.
Dope, dude.
Dude.
Hey,
Nice, man. That was sick.
nice job.
Respect, fam. You know that's how you get respect, fam. Yes, fam. In London, they've got to shank a few guys. Well, hey, you just shank your fingers a few times, you can't. Super shocked about that.
Yeah, your way looks low percentage. You're coming here and then bumping.
It's because you had the stick there, bro. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
It was also like you were so like near it, and then all of a sudden you got one finger in it, and you went, I got 2 fingers in it.
Well, to be honest, these 2 fingers ain't ideal. You want these 2 ones. But you gotta do what you gotta do, fam. You want the middle 2, not the index.
Someone stick me.
So I managed to make this climb, right? It was a fluke. tried it 10 times previously, I dropped the 2-finger pocket. But sometimes in life, well, always in life, bruv, the more you try, the more the merrier, the more chance you have of success. But you got to be willing to try. If you're not willing to try, then how are you going to have the success, fam? So although the holes are sharp, grimy, and it's going to rip your skin in half sometimes that's the price you could have paid to optimize the ultimate gain, sense. Siv right here climbing for the first time. It's amazing. Phenomenal, mate. He's the strongest Indian climber of all time. The fact that he's climbing a 7C on his first time outdoors, fam. He's already broken the 5th wall of the matrix.
Alright, I'll try the second half. Make sure it's lift up.
Right, so
Pebbles only.
gonna try a 7A plus now. It's basically an extension of another 7A, but you know what it is? Because I did the other climb so quickly, I need to maximize the end of the session pump. So I was gonna try and get more volume in. Got the fan.
Right, so this 7A plus, basically the crux is basically at the start, as you're doing like a very dodgy heel-toe camp, moving through like some very shallow crimps, and you're very skeptical about your heel slipping, your hand slipping, because the crimps are quite shallow, and your heel getting locked in there and you snapping something. But once you make it past that section, you get this jump. The rest of it's basically a 7A, I'd say. Like, it's all kind of cranking on very sharp pebbles, but there's nothing really out of the ordinary that you have to do. There's a technical element involved, making sure that you don't slip and having your feet and everything aligned in the right way. But to be honest, if you have the capabilities to try harder climbs, then this climb should not be that difficult for you. It's mainly just mind over matter. Basically what climbing is, to be honest, outside most of the time, because you definitely, if you train most of the time indoors, you should have the capabilities to climb extremely hard outdoors. So although I didn't match the top hole properly, and I smashed my fan on the jump off, I was still very content with this attempt and the way that they went.
Go on. Yes, dude.
Right, so we finished for the day now. It was a monumental day in the end. I didn't think much of it, like projecting an AA plus, doing the crux moves quite well, and then also having really good burns on this mentalist area as well. After being quite dehydrated and a bit like feeling mentally and psychologically past your best, but there was enough energy there to manifest some level of gains, mainly because I dialed the skill and managed to do things quite quickly. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the day ahead. Dun, 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 dun.